This is a really good question that we have this week. Siteground versus Bluehost. How do you choose between the two most recommended WordPress blog hosting providers? Ooh, I like this question. I'm so glad that you asked this question because a lot of people get confused about this because they'll see one video where I'm talking about what's the best blog host for beginners, and that, I'll say Bluehost, and then another video will say, I've had a blog for a year and I have this much traffic. What's the best blog host for me? I'm still kind of a beginner, and I'll say Siteground. And people are like, well, what the hell, Matt? You're recommending both. Is one company paying you, to support them, and are your recommendations skewed or biased or this, that, and the other? No. Here's the thing. It doesn't matter to me which companies that I recommend. They will all pay you to recommend them. So it doesn't matter. Like, a lot of people think that there's fake reviews and this, that, and the other, or that the recommendations are biased. Yeah, it's biased towards what I like and what I recommend to friends and family and what I've found to work really well. But all the companies will pay you. So if there's any type of financial incentive, it doesn't matter which one you recommend. It's available for all of them. So who cares? The real thing that matters is, has that company been bought and sold off? So there's, all the companies usually get bought up by EIG, which they usually go to shit within 2 years after that. Because here's what happens. A small business owner like me will start a web hosting company, and I'll do my damnedest to acquire customers and provide really good service so that we build, a good word of mouth. And we want good reviews, and we want the customers to be happy and all this kind of stuff. When we get to a certain valuation, we start attracting the wrong type of attention from publicly traded companies. Then they come in, swoop us up, and then they consolidate all of us to an effort to increase shareholder profits, and then the service goes to shit. And they don't care because at that point they're big enough to where that happens. So usually I don't like EIG-owned hosting companies. The only exception to that rule is Bluehost. And like I say in all the other videos, the reason that there's an exception to that is because of my own experience. When I have a dedicated server at Liquid Web and I pay $500 a month for that bad boy, when I call in there, I get pretty good phone support. When I call Bluehost on a $3.95 a month shared hosting account for a blog, I get the same level of service, if not better. So while Bluehost might be a little slow sometimes, that's pretty damn hard to come by for that price point. So here's how I break down my recommendations, and here's the truth behind why the recommendations are different depending on who's asking. If you, what did you say? Most recommended, how do I choose between the two? Oh, that's easy. The way that you choose is, well, I don't know if you can see, they're probably too far away, but you see my screens back there on my workstation. There's one tab is open. If you are a beginner blogger and you're not very tech savvy and you're trying to set up your blog and you think you might get stuck and you think you might need a lot of hand holding and extra help, you want to go with Bluehost. The reason why is that Bluehost and Siteground are pretty much the same exact price. I mean, it's the same old gimmick with any company. It's just like the credit card companies do. They advertise $295, $395 a month, but here's the reality. It's like $8 or $10 a month if you want to pay month to month. If you pay 12 months up front from any of the hosting providers, they'll discount it below $5. So it's like $3 or $4 a month times 12 months. It's $40 to $60 for the year, and then you get $15 a month for your domain name. It's a great deal. Here's the point. Siteground and Bluehost are the same price. The difference is Siteground is a little bit faster, but they don't have native English-speaking support text. Bluehost is the same price. It's a little bit slower, but they do have really good 24/7 phone support. So what it comes down to is you. If you've had a blog for a year and you're pretty familiar with it and you don't need much help, go with Siteground because the site speed is going to be a little bit faster. You most likely already have readership after a year or two, so that might be a little bit more important to you, how fast the website loads. If you're a beginner blogger that's never had a blog before, or you're setting up your first blog, go with Bluehost so that if you get stuck, there's people that can help you, and you're not going to have a large readership right off the bat anyway, so site speed doesn't really matter. It's a better deal for you. So Bluehost, if you're a beginner and need to talk to people on the phone to get tech help. Siteground, if you don't need much tech help, you don't want native English speaking phone support, mostly do ticket support or email, but you want the site to load a little bit faster or you want it to be a little bit snappier. Both are the same price. I recommend both of them all the time on the channel and the blog, and that's how I would tell a friend or a family member to choose between the two. If there's some other purpose that you wanted to know about between the two that I didn't cover, let me know in the YouTube comments and I'll add it to next week's video. As always, Matt from cleverleverage.com with this week's blog hosting question. Let me know what you'd like to see in next week's video. Let me know in the comments what you think about Siteground and Bluehost, and also any video requests that you might have for 2 weeks from now. We've got a special publication coming just for you on this channel.